After a slightly somber start to India's escapade down under, speaking from an India perspective, of course, the team will look to bounce back and bounce back fast, and they actually do not have an option. They have to do it right away if they are to stay alive in the series in the second ODI on Sunday between India and Australia, again happening in Sydney, of course. To briefly touch upon the first ODI and preview the second ODI is Sandipan Banerjee joining me at this point of time. Sandipan, let's quickly talk about the first game, of course. India's much anticipated return to white ball cricket, in fact, any form of cricket for the last 8 months. Some positives there, but Australia largely outplaying India in the first game.
Absolutely. I think Indian team look a bit rusty, though they are coming. Most of all their players coming from the IPL, but still I think in this format, like 50 over is a longer format, so they haven't played longer format. Like their last longer format assignment was in New Zealand in Hamilton. Last ODI was. So I think at one point the team did look rusty, and Virat Kohli even mentioned that in the post-match presentation that towards the second half of the Australian innings, some of the Indian fielders actually looked a bit lethargic. They dropped catches, their misfields. Bowlers failed to take control of the situation. So it is a kind of a hangover of T20s, when you are playing too much of T20 cricket for the last 3-4 months, and suddenly you are, after 15 days break, suddenly you are in the 50 over game. Suddenly your body, its adjustment is necessary, but
correct.
But I guess overall it has been a very disappointing day for the Indian team.
Yeah, 100%. I think you summed up 2-3 things in that one comment itself. We were about to go step by step and break those things down, but Sandy on point as always. But let's speak a little bit about the lack of intent that Virat said. He said after the 25 over mark, I should say, the lack of intent was very visible. So definitely an IPL hangover. But we also know that India are usually slow starters in these sort of series, and they pick up the momentum in the time to come.
Yes, which is obviously the case, and here in Australia, I'm sure that things will go up better from the Indian team from here on. But still, since they were in quarantine, the team was allowed to practice, and they were having all those sessions. We have been seeing all these videos on their social media platform. So, and Virat Kohli even mentioned that there is no excuse. He was quite frank, and he actually criticized. He was quite criticizing his players for not putting up put their hands up when it was needed, because they are professional. After all, they are professional players, and it cannot be a justification to that they haven't played this format before, because since they are professional cricketers, they should know how to jump from one format to another.
Absolutely. Let's not talk too much about the first ODI. Of course, it's done and dusted. Come Sunday, it's the second ODI. Let's talk about the hosts as well, Sandipan. I mean, we speak a whole lot about India, but a very clinical performance by this Australian team, a magnificent batting score. In fact, Australia's highest ever score versus India, a very clinical batting performance. They read the conditions very well, opted to bat first, put up a big total, and that worked out for them.
Absolutely, and look at their batting. Those the players who are in the IPL, the Warners, the Finch, the Maxwell, the Smiths, they set up the tone for them. So, on one point, India is, if the Indian players are saying we haven't played this format before, and on the other hand, their counterparts, they have excelled in this opportunity. So I think things to learn for the Indian team. But talking about the Australian team, they are thoroughly professional. I think with this is the start of their much anticipated summer, and they wanted to set a tone with this. And even if it's the big ticket as a tournament, obviously the Test series, but I think they want to, right from the start of the tour, they wanted to set a momentum. They wanted to stump their authority in this Indian team, that okay, we will not be a pushover like last time.
That's correct.
So I guess they wanted to make a statement, and they have made a statement, I guess.
Yeah, I think it also levels up the series very well. You looked at India heading into the series. At least a lot of people thought, this is a team that has done very, very well. And now you come in, and when the first match is won by Australia, it puts a challenge across to India, and comprehensively at that. It throws across a challenge to India. And that is something we want to see, don't we? An even contest where both teams are going, at each other, hammer it out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look at the even some of the a lot of the Australian bowlers did not have a great day, but still the way they have defended this, I think it's credit goes to them. I mean, look at Aaron Finch. He was struggling in the IPL, but
That's correct.
now on his familiar territories, which I believe ODI is actually his familiar territories, because in someone like Finch, he needs some time up front to get into the grooves, which at
That's
times
correct.
in T20s he doesn't get. But
Right.
in ODIs, I think he is perfectly. He's probably the best ODI openers around at this point. The way the way he played, the way Smith played, I mean, wonderful. I think commentators were kept talking about they were keep talking about their Smith finding his hand. Look at those
Yeah.
bottom hand shots he played. He just since that LBW call, which went in his favor, since that he just transformed his innings and it was a master class of batting. He was playing the spinners like he was maybe playing we play in a video game. So I guess, I mean, I think it was one of the best Smith innings I have ever seen.
Yeah, you spoke about familiar territories, and of course, Australia took complete advantage of their familiarity with conditions. The other familiar territory, of course, is for the Bharat Army, that makes every stadium that they go to their familiar territory, especially in Sydney. They turned up in incredible numbers. The first time in many, many months that we had spectators in the stadium, and the Bharat Army made their presence felt. The Bharat Army, of course, are Team India's #1 supporter group, and of course, our partners at CricketNews.com. We have a small clip for you, a small package of what the Bharat Army have been up to in Sydney, of course. Let's go take a look and see what that's about.
Hey guys, we are here at Sydney. As you guys can see, we have our Bharat Army crew who's ready to cheer for Team India. We have Deva, the drummer, who has traveled all the way from He has traveled all the way from Adelaide just to cheer for Team India. Spend 3-4 hours just to get his race pending done. Get ready, get organized. Go big clap for them! What the fans think. I would like to ask you that where are you from?
I'm from Adelaide.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Just came this morning to Sydney. Yeah, love the weather, enjoying it. Yeah, and we will smash the Aussies inside now. Yeah.
Oh! We are really enthusiastic to go and cheer for Team India.
Always fun to see what the Bharat Army are up to. Of course, not with their drums, etc., because of COVID restrictions, but still making a whole lot of their presence felt in the Sydney cricket ground. Sandipan, so you've of course traveled the world and followed Team India. The Bharat Army, of course, also traveled the world and support Team India. You, of course, I'm sure have a ton of memories looking at the Bharat Army and sort of traveling alongside them as well across the world. How's that been like?
Absolutely, absolutely. They just add, more life to to the sport. I mean,
Hmm.
I have met a lot of Bharat Army guys in the UK, in even in New Zealand. Some of them are traveling around earlier this year. They have been a
Yeah.
wonderful bunch of people. They are very nice. They are most, they travel. They encourage the team. They travel with the team. If you talk cricket with them, they are highly knowledgeable. Even I know that some of the stats maybe we just tend to miss. They will, okay, no, 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 he has played this knock in Antigua in 20. So, and I was
I
there, so
mean,
this kind of a
yeah.
thing. So yeah, I think Bharat Army is a good fact checking platform for all the journalists, I guess.
They've added another layer to their repertoire, of course, and give us some incredible stuff. In, of course, CricketNews.com and Bharat Army share a wonderful relationship. They are one of our beloved partners, and we'll continue to bring you some exclusive action from Down Under on CricketNews.com as we head into the tournament. Speaking about heading into the tournament, Sandipan, second ODI, a couple of areas of concern definitely for Team India. One, of course, being the bowling contingent. Yuzvendra Chahal considered the highest, the most runs for a spinner in ODI cricket today. Of course, slightly unlucky. He bowled very well, but overall, Team India had a few concerns. Shami's rhythm was looking off. Bumrah has not been in the greatest nick. Do you think there could be a personnel change ahead of the second ODI?
First of all, I have an update. I think Chahal had some issues and he had to, he had to go out of the ground. So I
Yeah.
guess now BCCI has confirmed that he is all right and he will be available for selection for for
Hmm.
Sunday's game. So that is
Yeah.
one good news.
Yeah.
Considering the fact, considering like talking about personal changes, I think next game will be played on the same surface. So
Hmm.
maybe there will be some purchase for the slow bowlers. So I might play an extra spin option, maybe in place of Navdeep Saini.
Saini for
But
Kuldeep for Saini?
I think that's a very good. That will be a very good replacement. Though Saini is a handy batsman down the order,
Yeah.
and considering the tail India have, I mean that is now is a major concern because India don't
Hmm.
have, like we have already discussed on our previews on
Yeah.
our previous preview, that India's last four batsmen, they are not very capable with bat. So that is one concern, because in modern day white ball cricket you need to have at least someone who can get those 20-30
Hmm.
runs towards the
Correct.
end if needed.
Hmm.
So I guess that's a concern, but I think they should, even if you see the bowling of Jadeja in this game, Jadeja was bowling fairly well.
Yeah.
He should have got Smith.
Hmm.
Shikhar Dhawan just misjudged that catch.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think Jadeja has done fairly good job, and
That's correct.
Smith got a hold of it. But I think he will definitely, if he is fit enough, then he will definitely play. And I think it is high time that India need to play one extra spinner in the Sydney in
Hmm.
the next match.
A case for Shardul Thakur maybe to play. If you look at the other side, maybe he can strengthen the batting as well. Because after a point you looked like India were out of options. Once you were six down, then you're into the tail. Potential
Yep.
case for Shardul or not really?
If I have to play and if I have to make any changes in this playing 11, I will
Hmm.
bring in Kuldeep ahead in place of Saini.
Yeah, get Kulcha
Because
going.
Sardul and Saini will be a like for like replacement.
Correct.
But I think in the second game, the pitch, I think there will be some purchase for the spinners.
I think what's missing is, of course, the third seamer. If in the case when you
If
play two
Hardik is,
spinners, if Hardik was bowling, then it could have been the absolute
yeah,
ideal balance. That is a
yeah,
huge factor. We often talk about this being a team sport, but then we realize how the lack of a skill set in an individual can affect the entire balance of a team. And I think that's pretty evident.
absolutely.
Hardik, of course, was brilliant with the bat, but his bowling services are being missed for sure.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. I think
100%.
Hardik, the early Hardik start, resume his bowling effort, the more it will better it will be for the Indian
Hmm.
team, because he adds a lot of balance to this team. A fit Hardik Pandya, like if he can bowl maybe 7-8 overs, and so if one of your main bowlers is having a bad day, Hardik
Yeah.
is there to replace him. But today, actually, Virat felt that, vacant place.
Yeah, 100%. Also, the pitch wasn't an entirely batting conducive surface, but then the way Australia played was absolutely incredible. Do you reckon India will probably look to bat first if they win the toss in the second ODI? Maybe change of plans. Of course, Virat prefers to chase, but looking at how Australia have gone about their business, you think India could perhaps take a look and say, you know what, we better put a total up on the board here?
Yeah, but the question is, against this Australian batting lineup, do India have the bowling to defend even 350? And Sydney is not the biggest ground in the world.
Yeah.
So I guess it won't be I think it will be not a bad toss to lose on Sunday. I would not mind Indian team chasing, because I think India lost 4 wickets early today, but still they managed to cross the 300-run mark.
Yeah, when your top three don't get a big 150 or so, when you're chasing 370, then you just hurt your chances.
Absolutely. But still, when Pandya and Dhawan, Shikhar was batting at one point, it seemed that India were ahead in the game. Yeah. So I think the over Zampa bowled in the middle overs, I think that won Australia the game at least in the second half. And that was incredible. And look at Zampa also. He was also struggling in the IPL. But now all these Aussie players now have found their they're back in business.
I'll tell you what, Kings
I'm just thinking about
and the others.
Exactly, that's what
will be wondering where the hell were these
and
players.
Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Yeah, all of them would be wondering.
And Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Always. I'm sure you always have to pick that RCB point up, but nonetheless, a valid point there, an absolute valid point there. However, you think not a lot of changes in order for Australia, don't you think?
Until unless there is any fitness concern.
Marcus Stoinis was limping a bit. Maybe that would be a concern.
Yes, but there hasn't been any official update. But they have enough replacement, so I guess
That's
Australia is probably doesn't have much to worry about. I mean, look at Hazelwood. I think we should definitely talk about the performance of Hazelwood. Remember, Australia did not keep Hazelwood in their World Cup squad, and and the way he's bowling in the ODIs, shows that probably. I think the reason that time was that they wanted to keep him fresh for the Ashes. But still, when you are going to the World Cup, 50 over World Cup, is probably the biggest on cricket. Yeah, you have to play your best players. Even on this pitch, I think the way Hazelwood bowled, and I think that was incredible. I think in terms of, I think most of the Australian bowlers, they're quite they're quite tall compared to the Indians. So they got that ball to they got that extra bounce, and they came and hit the deck hard. I think that was the difference between the Indian pace attack and the Australian pace attack.
Yeah, of course. And come Sunday, India will have to have their plans cut out to ensure that they bounce back, because remember, this is a 3-match ODI series, and Australia have already gone 1 up. If India are to make an inroad into this game, the second ODI becomes very, very important. And of course, CricketNews.com will be there. We'll be present in Australia, of course, with our partners in the Bharat Army, and we'll be bringing you a whole bunch of coverage on CricketNews.com. Thank you so much, Sandipan Banerjee, for joining us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us as well.
Thank you, Sumedh.